a few years ago, I did about 100 days training in Marshall Rosenberg's nonviolent communication. And two techniques I learned for reconciliation, which I found very helpful. The first was called the 4-chair method, and the second, the 6-chair method, put about by a German trainer called Klaus Karstedt. So I immediately took them and started using them with my clients and on workshops and so on. And but because I'm a psychotherapist, I wanted to add something. I wanted to deepen it. So I brought in teachings from John Bradshaw, from Eugene Gendlin, from Fritz Perls to make it go even deeper. And that's why I now call it the Rediscovery of Love process, or RLP. Now the aim is this. You see, there's a famous phrase in the self-development field: would you rather be right or happy? Well, obviously the answer's obvious. The only problem is that when couples come to me, of course they both think they're 100% right. And so, of course, they're stuck in a place of being 100% right. Now, the truth is that in any dispute, there's always responsibility on both sides. That's good. Yeah. It's very good. And to illustrate that, I'd just like to tell you about the love triangle that explains this, put together by Nick Duffy and Elena Rosenthal. So the first phase is, as you see, attraction. And that's when a couple fall in love. Then they move in together, and then the second phase starts, which is normalization. You know, who does what in their roles. And then the third and inevitable phase is repulsion. And tragically in the West, most people either separate and divorce in that phase, or they live forever in a dead relationship. Now, the point is that if they had the right kind of help, they could move into the fourth phase, which is transition, which is what the love reconciliation process brings them to. And finally, they would get to the love alchemy phase, which is kind of the top of the mountain.
It was difficult to start with, to kind of get into the space that I needed to be in, to get in touch with my feelings.
Yeah, yesterday doing the 4 chairs, I've had a demonstration of it before, and I tried a mini 4 chairs, but yesterday it was incredible because I got to a phase through the process where I was so stuck, and I feel it's a place I've been stuck for about 20 years.
I'm just going to give you the essence first, and then we'll go through the 4 stages. Most couples are not aware of the effects of childhood trauma on their existing love relationship. And there's a quote that I would like to give you and then explain it. Leonard Orr, the founder of Rebirthing, once said, "When the reaction exceeds the stimulus, you can be certain that the past is governing the present." I'll give you an example. John raises his voice, and Jan goes pale, is absolutely terrified, runs out of the room, locks herself in the bathroom, and shudders. Now, John is the stimulus, but what would be the cause? Well, the cause would be that Jan had an alcoholic father who would arrive home drunk, shout at the children, and hit some of them. So the process of RLP is to make that diagnosis on both sides, because John's going to be doing something as well. And that would help the couple go to the next phase, which is transition. So in the Jan-John illustration, in the first stage, Jan would be invited to express her rage with John. John would be watching, but he wouldn't be on the receiving end of it. And then we go for the cause, which is Jan's alcoholic father. So she does that. Then she moves to the next stage, which is really just being in touch with her shame and guilt around all this. And then the third stage, really it's the stage of vulnerability. It's really the healing stage. So she is in touch with all the pain that her father's influence has thrust on her, and that she's now acting out with John. And the fourth stage, she then talks to John from, I believe me, a completely different space. And then when we finish that, we then take John and put him on the chair, and of course he's going to be doing something too. And then after that, we go through a process of reconciliation between the two of them. Finally, if both parties are willing to go through this process together, then at the end of the session, they will be able to look at each other with love once more, and maybe leave the session holding hands with hope for the future.
The word that I finished with, I think, in myself yesterday was that I felt I suddenly had hope.
So I feel really good very positive about the experience, although it was difficult, really worth engaging in, and I feel quite excited about what it will bring, you know, as I continue with my journey, because I've only just started this, but yeah, I feel really in the right place with the right people doing this for myself. It's a gift.